Kentucky has a rich heritage of craft traditions, beginning with the early pioneer artisans who handcrafted much of what was needed in the way of life's material goods. 200 years later, in a world much changed, Kentucky still has an abundance of craftspeople. Some of these individuals use available resources, their creativity, and determination to maintain time-honored family or community-based craft traditions. A question worth exploring is just how and why has our handmade past survived into the late 20th century? And who are some of the Kentuckians who are still crafting tradition? White oak baskets are among the best known of Kentucky's crafts, and they've been made here for generations. There was a time when sturdy baskets served a variety of needs on the farm, such as transporting tobacco plants, eggs, and garden produce. In south-central Kentucky, in the Mammoth Cave region, white oak basket making survived as a cottage industry. The basket evolved from an object of utility into a decorative accent for the home. Fifth-generation basket maker Lestel Childress of Edmonson County remembers the importance of baskets to his family and how he made his first basket at the age of 8.
First basket I ever made, I took it apart twice before I got it made. It's a small basket, and I sold it for a dime to a guy around the grocery store there. And most of what our parents done, we all just made baskets for a living. We didn't get that much for them because stuff wasn't high back then. You could take a quarter and get a lot of stuff with it. And we all made baskets, might near day and night. Well, baskets we made back in the old days when we used them, we just used them one year. We got through setting our tobacco stuff, or we got our corn stuck together, we just threw them away. We didn't do anything with them. Get ready to start another crop, raise a little corn, stuff like that. Well, we make enough baskets for all of us, had a basket apiece to use. And we just pitch them down. Baskets we made back then was real rough. And that's out to wanted a good heavy rough basket with a stout handle on it. Now handles don't have to be stout on them because they don't even use them no how. But they are still sturdy. They'll still last good. White oak's the only thing to make baskets out of. And it's a thrill to cut good timber, to see pretty timber, because it's a God-given thing for people to make baskets out of nature.
When Lestel was growing up, the craft of basket making was still very much a family industry. In large families like his, everyone helped out. Lestel's wife, Ollie, remembers that time.
Lestel and I was born and raised in Hart County, which Hart County is known for their basket makers, and all white oak baskets, not your stuff that you order. They just go to the woods and cut their trees down and bring it in. It would be no trouble. Just look, see a wagon here and a wagon there, and they'd have a bunch of trees in there to make baskets out of. And you could pass people's home, and they'd be sitting out in the yard and making baskets. But that was a way of getting by back then, because we traded baskets for merchandise and things like that. My mother made them, and my father made them, and my grandma made them. But I just watched and piddled around with pieces, and it just all came to me how to make them. But no one ever sat down and said, you do it this way. And my husband is about the same way. He was the same way. He was 8, and no one really sat down, but he watched his mother and father. And I think you can, if you're watching someone, you can learn more than you can if they're just standing right over you, showing you things. I met my husband when we both were just children because my sister had married his brother, and he would come with them in a road wagon up maybe on the weekend, and we used to, after we got up a little older and we was a courting, why, then he'd get on one side of the basket, and I'd get on the other side, and we both would work on the same basket. Ever since Lestel and I have been married, baskets has been in her house, so, we've always made baskets.
Ollie's arthritis prevents her from making baskets any longer, and she misses this activity that she engaged in all her life.
Baskets was relaxing to me. I could be sitting by myself, and my husband would be out in the field working, and I'd just sit there and work on baskets, and I really enjoyed it. I always did make the statement that God put people here for a purpose, everyone for a different thing. But he put me here to make baskets and can fruit and cook. Them's the three things I do better than anything.
Now imagine this basket behind me. Most people measure them barooed, but I don't. My dad always taught me to do it like this. And this is the starting of the basket. Just sawing the hoops off the right length.
According to Lestel, the hardest part of basket making is preparing the materials. After busting out the timber, he has to cut, whittle, and scrape the basket's handle hoop, inside hoop, and ribs. Then he has to prepare the splits, which are the fine strips of oak he uses to weave the basket. This step requires great skill.
Well, my dad couldn't run the splits. My mom made them, and that's who I learned from. And I was about the only kid then at home that could run splits. So that's something I knowed if I didn't learn it, I wouldn't be able to make baskets after Mom got old. That's something I wanted to learn. To me, this is the biggest thrill. Then I know I've got a good timber when it's done like this. The more you scrape them, the slicker the split is, makes more of a fancier basket. There's not no use anymore making something if you don't even make it good.
Only after the various parts are created can Lestel begin to assemble the basket. The handle hoop and the inside hoop are wrapped together with strips of oak. The ribs are then inserted into the wrapping. Lestel now has the framework for the basket.
So there it is. Now it's ready to weave.
By the mid-20th century, mass-produced containers had largely replaced handmade baskets around the farm, and cave region basket makers sought to increase the already existing trade with tourists. For more than 20 years, Lestel and Ollie successfully ran souvenir shops on 31W, selling baskets and other items. But even that business diminished after I-65 was built. Fortunately, Lestel relied on other work for his primary source of income. Besides farming, he worked in construction, in factories, and as a school bus driver while continuing to make baskets in his spare time. Then, in the 1970s, there was a nationwide revival of interest in handmade crafts. Here in Kentucky, a craft marketing program was initiated in 1980 to encourage and promote the state's craftspeople. Former First Lady Phyllis George Brown became a patron of Lestel and Ollie's work.
And she was the one that got me on to making fancy baskets, which I know that I could make them. But she wanted them just made real fine and neat. And said you can get a lot more money for them, which I did. Well, they ain't no harder to make. It just takes put more time in on them, making them. Yeah, my father picked me out from the rest of them in making baskets because he said I was the best hand to make them. I did take more pains with my baskets to make them than the rest of them did. Always did. I make about 56 different kinds. Make the old traditional round basket, and I make a Kentucky egg basket, melon basket. And I make that flower basket like my mother made up there. And then you got the wall basket and the miniature baskets, all different designs of them. There's a lot of different designs of baskets. This is the last part I'm doing to beautify the basket, is running it around the side and the bottom. That's what makes the basket look so nice when you do that to it. I wish the young kids would go ahead and make the baskets. Keep it going. I got 2 little bitty grandsons coming up. I'd like to live, for good Lord's will, and live to learn them how to make baskets. I wanted to learn all my kids, daughters, grandsons, and son-in-laws, but they're not interested in it. And if anybody ain't interested in something, they're not going to do it. You got to be interested in doing things. Well, that's the way I see it. I put everything I got in a basket when I work on one. Make it the best I can make it. And it's a God-given thing. That's what it is. It's a God's gift. You give everybody a gift, but everybody don't take it. That's why I figured.